Hey everyone, we got a new player of the week selection on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, just click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So let's have a look at who we got this week. 3 4-stars, more generosity from Konami. So we'll start with Mata, and not a great deal to say on this guy. As you can see, as a centre forward, most important ones, awareness and finishing, both decent. 86, not amazing but decent. On the ball, it's kind of okay but not brilliant. Passing again is kind of okay but not brilliant. He's not the quickest. He's got the goal poacher playing style. So I've said this before, for a goal poacher, you really want pace. I find it frustrating having a goal poacher who's not the quickest, because he's going to be constantly trying to get him behind the defence, but he's not really got the pace to be able to do that effectively. Physical contact's alright, that'll hit 80 in the game plan. If you've got a decent enough manager, balance not great, stamina not great. And then the skills, he's got the most important ones: heading, first time shot, long range curler. He's got some decent skills there. He's got some reasonable attributes, but ultimately he's very much a 4-star player. It's not one that I can really look at and say there's anything great about him. So not terrible by any means, but yeah, ultimately I don't think it's worth really saying much more about him. I just think he's a bit of an underwhelming card, and it's certainly not one that I'd want to be getting for 100 coins. And the next are 4-stars, we've got Talbi, centre-back. So this guy, to be honest, is not far away from being a very decent centre-back. The first thing that stands out, he's got a couple of 90+ attributes with the defensive, with his awareness and tackling, which is great. Aggression 80 is a bit on the low side. Some people don't mind that, but defensive engagement only 80. That's the first letdown. That's a bit too low. 80 for defensive engagement. He's a little bit slow. He's not disastrously slow, but a lot of people would prefer more pace than a centre back. I would personally. So that's one concern as well. Jumping 83, physical contact 88. He's got decent height on him, 190 centimeters, about 6'3". We'll look at the skills. It does have aerial superiority, so it'll be decent in the air. Man marking, interception, blocker, acrobatic clearance, fighting spirit. He's actually got a really good selection of skills. It'd be nice if he had heading and maybe sliding tackle, but I think you can't ask too much more, especially with a 4-star card. So a good selection of skills there. The other area of concern for me, he's awful on the ball. It's not the most important thing for a centre back. You don't expect centre backs to be particularly good down here. It's not often they're 70+, but all in the 50s on the ball there. That's pretty scary. Passing's not too bad, actually, to be fair. His heading could be questionable without the heading skill, 78 for heading, but he should be decent enough for winning headers in the first place. So yeah, he's a guy who does have some qualities for a 4-star card. I like the build-up play style. He's quite tall. As I mentioned, he's got some very good attributes there, but the engagement's a bit low. He's horrible on the ball, a little bit slow. So yeah, unwavering pace as well. So sorry, unwavering form, not pace. Yeah, on the whole, this is a guy who does have some qualities. I think for a 4-star, he's got some very nice qualities, but there are the concerns there. On the ball, engagement a bit low, not the quickest. So yeah, it is a 4-star card, but it's a question of how much of a concern those weaknesses are, especially the engagement. It's probably the one. You know, there are people who don't think that's too important. I personally think it is. But yeah, if you can see past the weaknesses with this guy, I think for a 4-star card, he's actually a pretty nice centre-back, but those weaknesses are something to very much keep in mind. So for me, not quite one that makes the grade, but he does have some qualities. And the last of our 4-stars, we've got a whole player version of Hajradinović. Probably said that wrong. So this guy's normally a classic number 10. It is an upgrade on the regular version of him, in terms of his play style, in terms of his attributes. He's fairly tidy on the ball. He does have nice passing. Finishing 71, not too bad. He's not the quickest. Kicking power is great at 91. Physically, he's not the strongest. The physical contact's a bit low, and the balance is a bit low as well. Yeah, I would want at least one of those two to be higher, maybe 80+. So he's a little bit low down there, and the stamina's okay, but keep in mind he's a whole player, and out of his positions, doesn't have the pace to play left midfield. He's not defensively strong enough to play centre midfield. So as an attacking midfielder with the whole player playing style, I think 85 stamina, he will get tired. It's not terrible, but it's not as high as you need it to be to keep, to really preserve his stamina. He's going to need subbing off in the second half. We'll have a look at his skills. He does have a good selection of skills: long range curler, knuckle shot, dipping shot, long range shooting, acrobatic finishing. With 91 kicking power, this guy could have a very nice long shot, but just be careful, because his finishing attribute is still the most important thing when he's shooting. So don't try anything too crazy with him, but as long as you're careful not to ask too much of him, he should be pretty capable of scoring goals for you. And then creating goals: one touch pass, through passing, pinpoint crossing, 88 low pass, 84 lofted. With the game plan boost, a decent enough manager, that low pass is going to hit 90. So he's going to have very nice passing on him. Pretty capable with his shooting as well, as long as you're careful with it. Tidy enough on the ball. If you don't mind the lack of pace and the fact he's not the best athlete, not the most maneuverable, he could be a pretty effective player to pick up. But for me, that's a bit of an issue as a whole player, attacking midfielder. I'd like him to be a bit more mobile. You could probably get away with him as a slow left midfielder. If you don't mind your wide midfielders being a bit slow and you just want to get him the ball and whip some crosses in, he will have good crossing, 84 lofted pass, 81 curl, 91 kicking power and pinpoint crossing. His crossing is going to be very good. So I think for some people you could find a use for this guy, and he could be a very productive player because he's got bags of end product. It's just that the pace and maneuverability might be an issue for a lot of us. For me personally, that really holds him back for me. But he certainly does have some qualities, and he's got a lot of end product. So again, he's a 4-star card. You can't expect too much of him. There are weaknesses there, but he does have some quality. So for some people, it could be a neat card to pick up. Now onto the 5 stars, we've got our keeper, Onana. So it's not the best version we've had of Onana. There have been better versions of him in the game, but it's a decent keeper. The awareness at 87, the reach at 87, both pretty decent. It would be nice if they're at least 88, because then with a good enough game plan boost, he could hit 90. But they are decent, 87. Reflex is obviously great at 90. Parrying 85 is pretty good. Catching 77, that's the one weak attribute down the middle there. He's not going to be holding on to many shots, so you got to keep that in mind. Jumping 75, they seem to have slightly improved the jumping on their player of the week keepers recently, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens moving forward with that. Yeah, attacking keeper, he's got low punt, long throw. I think he's just a solid keeper option. I don't think this is an amazing keeper. It's certainly not the best version we've had of Onana, but yeah, if you need a goalkeeper option, you don't have a better version of Onana, it could be a solid one to pick up. Catching's a slight concern there, but outside of that, he's got some good attributes. I think he'll be a pretty good keeper. Orsolini. So this is an interesting one because in the current Italian League pack, we've actually got a version of Orsolini, which it goes up to 94. So it's slightly better than this one. What I'd also say, right off the bat, they've made this guy a creative playmaker. If you prefer that as his playing style, that would be good news if you get this card. But for me personally, for what this guy's best at, which we'll find out in a second, as a winger with his qualities, I don't think creative playmaker is a good playing style for him. The version of him in the Italian League pack, like his base card, is prolific winger, which I think is better. So if you really want a version of Orsolini and you've got some coins, personally, I would go for the Italian League pack and try and get that version. But it is pretty similar to this one, so we'll have a look at what he's got. So obviously, he's quick, he's got very good pace. Physical contact for a winger is decent. That will hit 80 with a good enough game plan boost. Balance 80 is decent enough. Stamina's not brilliant, keep an eye on that. Down the left-hand side, attacking range 79, that will be 80 plus with the game plan boost. On the ball, he's pretty good. The ball control's decent, dribbling is great. Tight possession though, 79. So when you slow it down, you're trying to twist and turn and keep the ball away from a defender, you're going to notice that. He's not going to be the best at that. But when he's running at speed, certainly that dribbling is great. And the tight possession will hit 80 with the game plan boost, to be fair. With the passing, low pass, not so great. I mean, for a creative playmaker, low pass 72, that's not a good combination. Lofted pass 81 is decent. He does have pinpoint crossing, we'll see that in a second. Finishing 83 for a wide man's very good. Set pieces and curl, they should hit 80 with the game plan boost. The skills, as I mentioned, so he's got some dribbly stuff there, but what this guy is best at, long range curler, rising shot, long range shooting, first time shot, 83 finishing. He's a left footer. You put him on the right hand side, you cut inside onto his left foot and you get some shots away. That's what he's best at. He's a goal scorer. Put him on the right hand side and just get him into shooting positions and he'll score goals for you. I said much the same thing when I was reviewing the Italian League pack. That review is on the channel if you want to have a look at the other version of him. It's obviously the same player. It's a very similar version of him. They've not changed a great deal. The playing style is the biggest thing really, but what he is best at, like I say, he's a goal scoring winger cutting in onto his left foot from the right hand side. Going back to the skills, he does also have pinpoint crossing as an outside curl as well, which is interesting. You could play him as a wide left forward if you wanted to make use of his crossing, because with pinpoint crossing, lofted pass 81 is not brilliant, but it's decent with pinpoint crossing. Curl is going to be 80 plus in the game plan. Kicking power is high. He'll have a decent cross on him. But with outside curl, you could get some crosses in from the right hand side, and likewise cutting inside onto his left foot and hitting an in-swinging cross, of course. So he's got some crossing, but the shooting is the main thing. But like I say, it's not really too dissimilar to the version that's currently in the Italian League pack. And I don't think this is good a play style. As a creative playmaker playing out wide, he's not going to be as aggressive with his forward runs. He's not going to be constantly looking to run in behind the fullback or into spaces behind the defense. He's going to want to hang back a lot of the time, and he's going to want you to kind of give him the ball and let him play make. And that's not what I personally like from a winger. That is personal opinion though. If you do prefer that with a winger, you want him to hold back and then make some runs from deeper into the middle, into shooting positions, it could be a great card for you. But it's just something to keep in mind, because that change in play style is significant for me. But yeah, other than that, like I say, what he's best at, wide right, cutting his side onto his left foot, gets some shots away. Not going to do much with his low passing. Don't be trying too many through balls. Don't think he'll be too good at that. But yeah, if you're using to his strengths, could be a good card. But just keep in mind, if this is a card that you're going to go for, there is a version in the Italian League pack which you might prefer to this one. So yeah, pretty good card though on the whole. And now we have another Bruno Guimarães. So I'll try not to be biased as a Newcastle fan, but first thing I'll say with this card, it is very, very similar to the previous Player of the Week version we had of Bruno. We had an Anchorman version, and a lot of these attributes are either exactly the same or very similar. He's an orchestrator this time. That's his usual playing style. That is very much his playing style in real life. Anchorman, I don't know why they made him an Anchorman. He's never really been an Anchorman for us, but yeah, he is an orchestrator again this time. The one real weakness with this guy is a bit slow. You will notice that pace. He's not the quickest. He's not disastrously slow for an orchestrator as well. He's just going to kind of loiter around. He's not going to be running around too much, covering too much ground. So the pace isn't too important, but you may notice that. The physical and balance are both okay. Stamina's okay. For an orchestrator, like I say, he's not going to cover too much ground, so I think that stamina's fine. Defensively, he's pretty decent. It'll be nice if tackling hit 80 like the rest of them, but with the game plan boost, it will. So he's fairly solid defensively. On the ball, pretty tidy. Passing is fantastic. He's got great passing on him. The one real change they've made with this card, see 72 for finishing, that is a boost. It's still not great, but it is a boost, obviously, compared to the other versions of him. And when you look at the skills, we've got long range shooting, we've got first time shots. So that's what we've got. You've got a version of Bruno that's basically capable of shooting. I don't think that's overly important the way you're going to use him in this game. I don't think you're going to be getting too many shots away. The previous version of him had one touch pass, which is a really important one for a centre midfielder, and it also had man marking. So it was certainly a better version if you're going to use him as an anchorman defensive mid, which is what that card was. This one is an orchestrator. That playing style will be active in both his positions. It can be a defensive mid or centre mid. They've taken man marking away from this one, but he does still have interception, but he doesn't have one touch pass. So I'm not sure which would be his best position, to be honest. I think he's a bit more of an all-rounder, really, this card. The previous one, I think, is more defensively solid. This one, you could use him in either role and be pretty effective. Like I say, he's pretty solid all around. The defenses are solid. Technically, down the left, he's good. Obviously, the passing's fantastic. He's going to have very nice passing, especially with the through passing skill. Just a little bit slow, but yeah, unwavering form as well. So yeah, it's just a really good version of Bruno, to be honest. I think he's capable of playing defensive mid or centre mid. I would personally have another defensive mid in my midfield. Make sure that he's not going to be the main defensive element of your midfield. I don't think he's quite strong enough for that, but he's certainly pretty strong. But yeah, on the whole, a very good version of Bruno. Solid all around. Just the pace is a bit of a concern. It'd be nice if he had one touch pass like the previous version, but I don't think you can really complain. He's still going to have great passing. It's a very good card on the whole. And then we got a Bastoni. So this Bastoni, to be honest, they've not really changed a great deal compared to his regular card. It's one of these ones. I'm looking at his base card now, and with him maxed out defensively, this version is worse. The aggression's lower by 4 based on the auto allocation on his base card. Engagement is 4 lower as well. Tackling slightly lower. Defensive awareness is 1 higher. So I don't get it. Surely the whole point of these cards in these packs is that they're going to be better versions than the ones that are available. So you're incentivized to spend coins on them. But I don't see why I'll be spending coins to try and get this Bastoni. He does have a slight boost elsewhere. He's got a little bit more pace. He's about 1 or 2 higher on the physicals, but yeah, and better passing as well, to be fair. But ultimately, these are the most important attributes, and it's bad enough if they don't get improved from the base card, but if they make some of them worse, I just don't understand it. It's got unwavering form. He's extra front man like he normally is. We look at the skills, heading and aerial superiority will be good in the air. Man marking, interception, sliding tackle. Okay, some good ones, but no blocker, no acrobatic clearance. So yeah, they're giving him first time shot, which is nice. You might have a shot with him once every 100 matches, I guess. But yeah, ultimately, is it a good centre back? It depends if you like the play style. It depends if you can handle some of these attributes defensively being a little bit on the low side, and the fact he's not got the best physical contact and jumping. It's pretty good. It's not amazing, and the fact that they've not made it a better version than his base card, in my opinion, I just think doesn't make sense. So it's a bit disappointing for me. But looking at it in isolation, it's certainly a decent centre back card. And then we have another version of Teo Hernández from AC Milan. So what they've done with this Teo, they gave us a centre back version recently, and they had a couple of defensive skills, which is a bit of a game change because normally Teo doesn't have any real defensive skills. This time they've done the same. They give him interception again, but instead of giving him blocker, they give him man marking. I personally think that's a better skill for a defender. I would choose man marking over blocker. So interception and man marking, that he doesn't normally have those two skills. That's a big addition. He's got his crossing, his shooting. He's got the usual stuff, fighting spirit there, but let's get to the chase. He is insanely quick. 98 speed. Game plan boost will make that 99. Acceleration 88 should hit 90 in the game plan boost. He is one of the quickest fullbacks you're going to see. Physical contact is decent for a fullback. That'll hit 80 in the game plan boost. Balance isn't too bad. I'd like it to be higher, but his physical contact is higher, to be fair. And stamina as well. So athletically, this guy's great. Down the middle, defensive attributes are okay. They're not brilliant. They're okay. Some might consider them to be on the low side. I would prefer them to be a bit higher, personally. On the ball, he's going to be fairly decent for a fullback. But the passing and crossing for me are a little bit low. He does have pinpoint crossing, but I would still like the low and lofted pass to be a bit higher. So really, I think what it comes down to is what you want from a fullback. Keep in mind the play style as well. He's got his usual fullback finisher play style. He's going to go wandering up into the midfield when to get involved in the build-up. I personally do not want my fullbacks to do that, so I don't like that playing style. But if you do like that playing style, that obviously would be fine. But yeah, it comes down to what you really value in what you prioritize in a fullback's attributes. If you just want a defender to be defensively competent and just have crazy pace, you're probably going to love this card. He's certainly got a lot of qualities, and down that right hand side with the pace and the athleticism, there's no question he's ridiculous there, to be honest. But yeah, for me personally, I would like the defenses to be a bit higher, and I'd like him to be a bit better with his passing and crossing, but pretty decent on the ball. And like I say, down the right, he's brilliant. The fact they're going to interception and man marking, there are a lot of things that are going to be subjective here, like I say, in terms of which attributes you prioritize, the playing style. But with the skills they've added, the pace they're giving him, and how good he is on the whole, I think you'd have to say, objectively, this is a very good left-back card, Teo Hernández. So yeah, even though I prefer some of these attributes to be a bit higher and I don't like the playing style, I'm certainly not going to complain if I get him. And now we come to the last three cards, and the last three cards are boosters. We have Declan Rice after his performance against his old club West Ham. So he's a box-to-box. That is his regular play style. They changed that. So a lot of the recent feature versions are destroyers. We have had some decent versions of Rice in the past that are around about the same level as this. But they have tweaked his attributes a bit. This is a slightly different version. The first thing to notice is they made him an absolute beast from set pieces. Obviously, they score from some of his corners against West Ham, so they've made him very good, not just from set pieces in general, but by giving him pinpoint crossing, he's going to be great at corners. They're giving him long range shooting and first time shot as well. I think those are new skills, so he's going to be a bit better at finishing than he normally is. But again, the finishing attribute is still the most important thing, and that's only 64, so he's not going to be great at shooting. He'll just be slightly better with those skills being added. Still no one-touch pass. That's the one he's usually missing, Declan Rice. That's the big miss. So that's a big shame. But low lofted pass is a nice one. Weighted pass likewise. His passing attributes are pretty decent. And when we check what the booster does, it boosts his passing. So on A form, he's going to have really nice passing. 88, 89. So when he gets that game plan boost with a decent enough manager, he's going to be 90 plus on both low and lofted pass, which is great. Also boosts his curl and his kicking power. Neither of those are particularly important. But yeah, going back to the skills, man marking, interception, starting tackle, captaincy, fighting spirit. So good defensive skills. The defensive attributes are great. Again, with the game plan boost, tackling and aggression, both going to hit 90 plus. Engagement already 90 plus. Awareness in the mid 80s. So he's defensively very strong. It's going to be a question of how you want to use this guy. Is he going to be a real centre mid box to box? without one-touch pass, without through passing, attacking when it's being a bit low, balance not being great. I personally wouldn't want to put him as a centre mid box to box. I'd want to focus on what he's good at, which is the defensive ability that he's got, the attributes and the skills. He's physically very strong. Pace isn't great, balance isn't great. Yeah, I think he's definitely built to be a defensive mid. So I would personally play him as a defensive mid. I'll put the defensive instruction on him. I realise he can't do that on mobile, but on console, on PC, that's what I would do. That's how I would use him. And yeah, I think he's a very strong guy. He's got a lot of qualities. His passing is fantastic. I don't think his passing is normally that good, certainly with the boost activated. You could certainly get away with him as a box-to-box. He's got a lot of qualities, but like I say, without having one-touch pass, without having through passing, and without having a bit more awareness and balance and so on, I don't think he's really going to be ideal in that role a bit. I think as a defensive midfielder, certainly he's got a lot of qualities, and if you play him to his qualities, and if you put him on corners, he can be a very good card. Erling is back. We have another player of the week, Erling. So, not the best version of Erling Haaland. We've had a lot around this kind of level, but obviously the finishing's insane at 96. We'll cut to the chase with the boost. When he hit the boost, it boosts his physicals down here. It makes him even more of a physical beast, as if that was necessary. But yeah, finishing's amazing. But outside the amazing finishing and the ridiculous physical contact there, the attacking awareness is good, but it's not that amazing for one of the best strikers in the world. On the ball, he's horrible. Passing is not particularly good. Heading is only 71. That's not great. He is pretty quick, but still not insane pace. Kicking power and physical contact, like I say, he's a physical beast. But jumping 76, how good is he going to be in the air? Yes, the physical contact is a big factor in that, but jumping only 76, heading only 71, does he have aerial superiority? Nope. So he's not going to be brilliant in the air. His awareness isn't that amazing. He's horrible technically on the ball and with his passing. I don't think it's that great a version of Haaland, to be honest. It's still Haaland. And you look at the skills there, heading, acrobatic finishing, got long range shooting, heel tricks nice, first time shot. He's a super sub. He's going to be a menacing super sub when he need a goal. But yeah, to be honest, without some of the attributes being a bit higher, I think all you can really say is it's just another version of Haaland. Yeah, it's nice that it's a boosted version, but the boost just boosts him where he's already ridiculously strong. And in some areas where he's pretty weak, to be honest, where his balance is horrible. I don't think the boost is really going to make much, a noticeable difference. So yeah, is it a good card? Of course it is. It's a 97 or 98 rated Erling Haaland. It's a fox in the box, like he often is. But is it anything to get excited about? Me personally, no. So yeah, obviously I'm not suggesting it's not a great card because it is objectively, but I don't think they've done anything really with this card to make it one to get particularly excited about, especially since we're probably going to get a load more Player of the Week Haalands over the remainder of the season. Very good card though. And then we have another Jude. So again, we've had other Judes around this level, but it's a very good version of him. I think it's one of the better ones. It is a whole player. A lot of people like that playing style. He can play centre mid or attacking mid. He does have some defensive qualities there. You could play him as a centre mid. He has interception, fighting spirit. So yeah, it could be a centre mid or an attacking mid. Looking at the other skills, I think first time shot is what they've added. Got some dribbly stuff up there. One touch pass. I'm not sure they've added anything actually. Maybe first time shot, but I'm looking for through passing and I don't see it. So that's probably the one letdown with this card, to be honest. It would be nice if we had through passing as an attacking mid whole player. Outside curler's nice, one touch pass, obviously first time shot as well. But yeah, he's got some of the most important ones for a set mid or attacking mid, but through passing would be nice. We'll hit that boost there. What do we get a boost on? His athleticism, basically. Okay, that's fair enough. So maybe a bit quicker. The balance and the stamina as well. He's got great stamina for an attacking mid whole player. 91 stamina, that's great. This is when he gets A form, remember. That boost there, if he gets A form, those attributes go up by 3. On B form, they go up by 1. So keep that in mind. But yeah, like I say, defensively he's competent enough to play centre mid. But I think to get the most out of this guy, attacking mid, really nice on the ball. That ball control is fantastic. Good attacking awareness. That's important for a whole player. That marries well with his playing style. Passing is very nice. Finishing 82 with first time shot. So when he gets into those good attacking positions, which he will, he is very capable of finishing chances for you, scoring goals. Physical contact and balance both over 80. That's quite rare. So for a guy who's quite big and tall, physical contact and balance going to be 80 plus, and he's good on the ball with the technical attributes here. He's going to be a really good player on the ball. He's going to be very strong on the ball. Stamina great. reasonable, pretty reasonable pace actually for an attacking mid. Good pace on the whole. The acceleration is not the best, but you know, he's quite a tall guy, but certainly the speed is good with that boost activated. So yeah, it's a very good version of Jude, to be honest. It's what you'd expect. Technically very good, physically strong, good awareness. He can pass, but he can also finish. It's a shame he doesn't have through passing. I think if he had through passing, that would be the icing on the cake. But even without it, he's got good passing, and I think he's going to be a very, very capable player in that attack midfield role. I think he's going to be one of the players that people are most keen to get this week. So yeah, there's some good cards in this selection, to be honest. I think it's a real mixed bag this time. You do have some very good ones. I think you probably got these 5 from the left-hand side, and then I'm not too sure about Bastoni. Orsolini, you might prefer the one in Italian League Pack, you might not. He's certainly a pretty capable card, decent keeper, and then some 4 stars who probably won't be most people's cup of tea, but you never know. Some people might like them, but yeah, I think it's a decent selection. A few duds maybe, but some decent ones for sure. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully you found it useful. Thank you for watching as always. I will see you soon.